everybody. Today I'm hoping to continue our discussion on COVID-19 and the immune system. I have some interesting stuff for you guys today, and it's going to be chock full of links. I can only put 5 video links when I reference them, so please look in the description of this video and you're going to see more links here. So I'm going to be judicious about which links I put up here. I want to talk about vitamin D again briefly. I'm going to talk also about vitamin C again briefly. I'm going to talk about hemoglobin. I'm going to talk about ventilation, meaning using ventilators, and how this disease is presenting itself as an ARDS issue or sort of like a hypoxico issue, meaning like I gave that analogy a couple videos ago, as if you're on the top of Mount Everest and you have no time to acclimate to the altitude. We seem to be seeing both of these in COVID-19 patients, and you'll see that the things that I talk about here today are extremely relevant. By the way, sorry, this is how the cookies came out in the previous video. They're delicious. I mean, they're really good. So check out that video. But by the way, if you guys want to add a little salt or a little brown coconut sugar to the mixture, be my guest, but those are plenty sweet as it is. The boss. Nice cup of green tea with that. All right. I'm also going to talk about nitric oxide. I'm going to put a link in the description of the video to a article that I received from my friend Bob Goldsmith. And you guys already saw the stuff that I put out from David Green on nitric oxide. More importantly, nitric oxide has been a theme through all the videos. Why? Because we've talked so much about breathing and the parasinuses and how most people are dysfunctional breathers and how important it is for people to sleep with their mouth closed and to breathe through their nose, blah, 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 all of which are nitric oxide related. Not nitrous oxide, nitric oxide. You want nitrous oxide, go to your dentist. Okay. Vitamin D, guys, check this out. I put a link to a video I was talking previously when I was talking about the black population and low vitamin D. Recent research shows that over 80% of the black population is vitamin D deficient. I will put a link to that research in the description. What have I been saying, guys? Come on now. If we're not supplying vitamin D to all people who really, really need it, we need to second guess, what are we doing? Knowing what we know about vitamin D, how is it possible that we're doing all that? We're $2.2 trillion everywhere. How about just getting the people the fat soluble vitamin D3, 5,000 IUs every day, and let's just get it out there. At the very least, how about just get a blind study going? How about just get a population of 1,000 people, those who take it, those who don't take it, in the black community, so that we can say, hey, you know what? This is something that's really important. It's insane, guys. I mean, this needs to be done if it's not being done already. But in that video, I referenced how much more sunlight, the darker the skin you have, as opposed to the lighter complexion, you need a lot more sunlight in order to create adequate levels of serum vitamin D. In that video, if you listen to the whole video, they talk a lot about the prostate and vitamin D. Let me go on a little bit of a tangent here, because I said I would, about a new therapy called, I believe it's called Resume or Resum. It's for the prostate. It's literally a steam treatment. Now, hear me out. They literally put 9 or 10 seconds worth of steam into the prostate, which obviously blows it up and then cools off. They do this a couple of times. Over the course of weeks and months, what you're really getting here is the effect of a term that you guys have heard before, cellular autophagy. We want those cells to die. Now, if you've been listening to my videos, and if you know how I think, you should already be saying to yourself, hey, wait a minute. Never mind all of the effects that we know from the previous video, which I will put in the description about the prostate and vitamin D. Guys, I'm going to put a link right here. I'm going to use one of my links, one of my 5 right here. I want you to listen to from 9 minutes to 9 minutes and 55 seconds how this is being used, how the Resume is being used. Listen carefully. What you're hearing is exactly what you've been hearing me say about going into the hot and then going into the cold. You've also heard in the MedCram video, it is episode 46 of the MedCram video. Guys, I've been doing this for years. I've been telling you guys about it. In my 40th birthday, if you go on YouTube, you'll see me in an ice bath. I am 44 and a half years old. This is nothing new to me, okay? It's new to the public, but it is not new to me. And it's not new to the people that are in the know. But it's time that we start using this information to our advantage, because we really, really need to understand how immunity works and how to be badass right now. We just need to know how to do it. So listen to how it works. It works like this. You heat something up, and then you use the cooling effect, which takes a tremendous amount of energy from the body, and you realize that it's the cooling down that is actually creating the desired effect that you want there. Meaning that if you go into a very, very hot bath, okay, and I have news for you guys, you can get your prostate, nice and warm. And then if you just go under the faucet, spread eagle, and run cool water on your prostate, guys, you're going to get effects here. Now, if you do it just every time you take a bath, which I highly recommend, people should be taking hot baths since we don't have access to the saunas anymore. And again, based on Kellogg's research and everything that you heard in MedCram episode 46, taking hot baths right now is a very good idea. It's also a very good idea if you paid attention to my sleep video where I talked about Matthew Walker's research and taking a hot bath before you go to bed and how much better you'll sleep, because the body you're triggering essentially a thermal dump from your body. Your body needs to be cool in order to sleep better. So you raise the body heat really high, and then you get out of the bath and your body already has turned on its cooling mechanisms. You put a pair of socks on, you go to bed naked, and you go into a cool room, and we know that helps people sleep better. But you guys already knew all that because you've been following this all along the whole time, I know. My point is, guys, is that there really is something there about the hot heat and then the cool. The heat and then the cool. The heat and then the cold. There's something there, guys, I'm telling you. And if all you have to do is listen to that 1 minute from that video, and you'll see, man, how is that working? It's called cellular autophagy, and we can do that to our whole body, guys. We can get really, really hot in the sauna, bam, get into the cold plunge. Since those aren't open, hot bath, bam, run the cold water on your prostate, or just take a cold shower as soon as you're done with the hot bath. It's a great way to do this. Now, is it going to work once or twice or 3 times? If you make it a habit over the course of a lifetime to do this, I guarantee you're going to have better prostate health. Why? Because we know that how things work cellularly, and we know how and why things become inflamed. So between the vitamin D and what I just told you about, give it a try. But at the end of the day, I hope it encourages you guys to start getting into hot baths, start using cold therapy, because we've been talking about it for a while. Again, if you want to hear MedCram and this doctor talking about it, I'll put a link right here. So I'm using my second link right now, MedCram 46, talking about the sauna and cold and Kellogg's research. But I promise you that it will have an effect on not only your whole body, but specifically talking about the prostate here. Those treatments hopefully give you guys evidence of how this is working in terms of cellular autophagy. I'm going to put another link right here. Vitamin D in acute respiratory distress syndrome, ARDS. And what do we hear? We hear a lot of people getting what's termed as ARDS with COVID-19. This video is way before the whole COVID outbreak. I want you to hear in that research, what is the effect of vitamin D on ARDS? It has nothing to do with COVID-19. They're just talking about ARDS. You ready for this one? Here's another link right here. This is my 4th video I'm using. Vitamin C in acute respiratory disorder, distress syndrome, ARDS. Again, look at when it was done, has nothing to do with COVID-19. What did you hear yesterday that doctor talking about? What did you hear for the past 4 weeks about us talking about how important vitamins A, D, and C are going to be? But guys, here's what's up. You ready? It's not oral vitamin C. This is now my 6th time saying it in these videos. Oral vitamin C is great. Everybody should be taking oral vitamin C. But if you're under the illusion that you can take grams and grams of oral vitamin C and get the same effect that we're getting here with intravenous vitamin C, you're wrong. I am telling you, check out the effects that this guy has had on using intravenous vitamin C on ARDS, and we are seeing very clearly that many people who have COVID-19 are getting the signs of ARDS. I am going to point to, am I down to my last video? I'm going to point you to another MedCram video where he's talking specifically about ARDS and hypoxico-related symptoms. These are 2 different things. One of them is the hemoglobin thing that you see. The other thing is the ARDS. Okay, so we're seeing 2 different things. Now, this particular medical doctor in MedCram happens to be pretty much an expert on ventilation. So I think he's a little bit biased toward the ARDS stuff, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. The point is that if you guys watch the videos on vitamin D and vitamin C intravenously on the effects of ARDS, we should be thinking differently. But I also want you to listen to what he says about ARDS and ventilation in that video, which I already put the link up, and the hypoxico-related signs. Now, and I'll put in the description where he specifically talks about the hemoglobin related stuff, and where he's not 100% on board with this, what we talked about in terms of, in a previous video, I talked to you guys about the hemes and how oxygen is being kicked off of those hemes because of the viral proteins being there. This particular doctor is not convinced as of that time that that's what's happening. He's leaning more toward ARDS. My point is that regardless of what's happening, okay, because he grants the fact that both of these seem to be happening, some in some people, some in others, it doesn't matter. My point is, guys, is that the therapy in vitamin D, with vitamin D, and the therapy with vitamin C are both unbelievably effective for ARDS. We already talked about the hemoglobin stuff and what we should be looking at. And I'm also going to put a link in the description of this video talking specifically about nitric oxide. I want you to read it. I want you to check it out. And I want you to realize what we've got. I want you to acknowledge what we've got technology-wise, what we've got knowledge-wise. Not in some big pharma, script, but what we've got at our fingertips practically. What we've known about, not for the past week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Yeah, hydroxychloroquine seems great, and whatever's going on with ivermectin, and there's companies that have stuff that's very promising, and I'll put links to all that stuff as well. You guys are putting me to work today, just like you did yesterday. I don't care. I want you guys to recognize the storyline's got to start changing. It's disgusting at this point. We have to start changing the storyline. And you know what? I get it. I understand why we're doing what we're doing. But isn't it disgusting that we've known these things for as long as we've known, and the fact that we're just now starting to get on board with how effective some of these things are, how we're just now, starting to put out things about how important it is to be healthy at a time like this, and maybe not drink too much alcohol, too much sugar, start losing weight, when we know that the most affected people are obese, the people with comorbidities, the people that really need to be healthy. Why isn't this information just permeating the airwaves? It's not. It's very, very disturbing. Because guys, if we had done this 2 months ago, actually, we could have just done this from the day I started this challenge, which at this point we're starting our 5th week. I have seen people completely change their blood lipid panels in 7 days. I have watched people lose, I am not kidding, and I'm not talking about 300-pound men. I'm talking about 210 to 215-pound men lose 14 pounds in 2 weeks. And it's not all fat, it's mostly inflammation. We can make a big dent in your health and your blood lipid panels and how you feel in 2 weeks. Now, guys, I don't know. At some point, we all got to get on board here and start realizing that this information is abundant, it's available. We got to start using human logic and reason. I chose to use meditation, breathing techniques, exercise, nutrition, and informing you guys about therapies that we've known a whole bunch about and are investigating, as well as keeping you abreast on the pharmaceutical medication, because I don't have a bias. Okay, whatever works, works. But guys, we have to start acknowledging that many of the things that work and have been working have not been used enough. And that is disturbing. Said clearly enough? All right, everybody, please give me a thumbs up. If you enjoy those cookies, please let me know. But guys, please share my info. Please subscribe. It's super, super important to me. I don't know. I'm doing my best to give you my best. And hopefully it helps others as well. Have a great day, everyone.